You read the reports. Facebook reach is down. It's Facebook apocalypse. It's Facebook zero. But how down is it really? Our data shows some industries are ticking up while others remain unaffected. Join us today as we dig into the data to discover what's truly best for your business and your clients. Stay tuned. It's the Social Media Lab Live.
Are you ready to use science to bust some myths in the social media ecosystem?
Great Scott!
Welcome to the Social Media Lab Live, brought to you by Agorapulse, where our social media scientists experiment on real accounts to crack the code on social media success for your business.
Type 5 to subscribe to the show.
Join us live every Thursday at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. Now your hosts, Owen Video and Scott Ayers.
Welcome back to the Social Media Lab Live, where we're cracking the code to find out what's working and what's not working in social media. I'm Owen Video here with Scott Ayers, and we're live every Thursday at 9 a.m. PST right here on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can give me 5. That's right. Type 5 into the comment section now on Facebook. That will subscribe you to the show. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, you might be experiencing deja vu. But just click that subscribe button right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please like bomb, and give it up for my co-host today, the one, the only, the content social media scientist that makes all the brilliance happen. It's our social media scientist, Scott Ayers. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Scott Ayers. How you doing, buddy?
I'm dancing. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good now. I feel like,
hey,
wow,
yeah,
what a morning. What a morning.
This feels like I feel like a What About Bob episode today.
I feel good. I feel great.
Hey, if you're if you're in the audience, we want to know who you are and what you do. So tell us in the comments where you're located and what you do for a living. We'd love to kind of see that and get to know you a little bit.
That's absolutely right, guys. If you guys are logging in, welcome to the show. Remember, you can type 5 if you're watching on Facebook, and you will subscribe. That will subscribe you to the show. We'd love to hear from you. Who are you, and what the heck do you do? Because today's show, we really have a lot of data for you guys that we're going to go over today. You know, you've already heard, unless you've been under a rock and you're not really paying attention, organic reach on Facebook is down. But we're here to talk about how down is it for you. Okay, over at the Social Media Lab, Scott was able to really dig in to the nitty-gritty, the science and the techie data on this, and found some really interesting things, that it varies per industry. And that there's even an uptick in some of these things. Scott, give us sort of an overview of what we're going to cover today.
Yeah, kind of the Reader's Digest version is Facebook announced sometime, early 2018, that the reach of pages was going to be diminished because people weren't interacting with them enough. So everybody panicked. I think Michael Stelzner dubbed it Facebook zero, Facebook apocalypse. There's these cool images of this Facebook apocalypse with Zuckerberg's face on it that went everywhere. So people panicked thinking, oh no, Facebook is dead. Facebook is dead. The sky is falling. We kind of wanted to see, is it really falling as bad as we thought it was falling? And luckily for us, we have a tool called the Facebook Barometer. That's a free tool that you can analyze your Facebook page, compare it to other pages of like size. And because of that data, we've had about 30,000 pages now. I think up to 37,000 pages are connected to it now. We had Lisa Counter-Williams, who used to be, we called our content goddess at Agorapulse. Now she's our product marketing manager. She did a piece sometime in 2017, like early 2017, late 2016, looking at the data of the 27,000 pages at the time that were connected, and kind of, it's massive amount of data that we can kind of pull from and kind of get a bird's eye view of what reach really looks like based on the different industries. And so she put together this really cool infographic and this great article that kind of lines all that out. And I thought, well, can we take new data from 2018 after the whole Facebook zero thing and see, did it really drop the way that everyone predicted that it did? And so we had some pretty interesting results that came from it. It's not all bad news. There is some good news. But overall, reach is down, roughly like 13% overall for everyone. But there were a few winners. If you're a local business, for example, maybe you've got a little pizza shop or a bike shop or whatever you might be, reach was actually up just like 0.4%.
That's exciting.
Comparatively, which isn't a lot, but at least it wasn't down. Food and beverage.
It's a step in the right direction too, because the local business, I think, is what Facebook is really trying to boost. Facebook is really trying to create connections, right? And Lisa Williams is out there saying, I loved doing that research. So obviously a lot of great data that we're going to uncover today, and a real promising news for many of you out there with smaller pages, especially if you're in a place to connect with real life people in local events and local marketing and things like that. I don't want to give it all away. We're going to come back, but I want to introduce, we have a guest host today. One of my favorite new friends. He's going to help take us on the journey today. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ian Anderson Gray. He helps entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority, and profits by using live video confidently. Ian Anderson Gray, welcome to the show. Glad you could be on here with us today. Ian, you're going to help us sort of review and provide insight on what we can do now, right? Now that we know that there's certain opportunities for Facebook pages, we'd love to hear from you on what marketers and business owners can do to help beat the Facebook algorithm. But before we do that, Ian, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I'm based in Manchester in the UK, and as you said in your very kind introduction, I help entrepreneurs level up their impact and authority using live video. Confidently is the key, because I think a lot of people out there are really scared about getting in front of the camera. They may feel they're shy or introverted, but actually I think they can do it if they just get in front of the camera and do it, and have a few things to follow, basically. So that's what I do. So helpful
to provide structure and to provide, somewhat of a foundation. And let's take a minute and talk about your social media foundation. Are you building your social media campaigns on sand, or are you building them on the rock that is agorapulse.com? Because if you're not using Agorapulse, now might be the time. Let's take a minute and give a shout out to our sponsors over at Agorapulse Social Media Management.
Social media management is such a growing market. It's what websites used to be during the .com era. It's very challenging, especially for the small to medium-sized business owners, because they really can't do it on their own. And if they do want to do it on their own, it can get very expensive. It's a missing piece in today's market. As the owner of a digital marketing agency, it became very challenging to be able to manage all these different accounts. We were working easily 10 to 12-hour days, not being able to spend time with our family. We started seeking out a social media platform. I know there's HubSpot, there's Hootsuite.
What I really noticed with each tool was that there was always something missing. We were looking for something that was all-encompassing.
And we found Agorapulse. It posts automatically, but not just to one social media channel, but multiple. And it really transformed J29 Creative to what it is today.
Out of the box, we were able to accomplish what we needed.
It allows our social media managers to work anywhere, anytime.
I spend a lot of time meeting with our individual clients, helping them manage and strategize. So being able to, on the fly, take a look at the posting schedule that we've set up has been great.
It has allowed us to also show our clients an ROI, because one of the most challenging things with social media management is putting dollar figures to what we're doing. It has charts and graphs to be able to show those things.
Whether I'm working with my copywriters, some of my video editors, or my graphic designers, Agorapulse is really great because it helps us work with many different moving parts.
The biggest thing with social media, in order to do it well, it takes time. And when it takes time, it takes away from your family, your vacations, and the ability to be able to just relax.
It has really helped me give the best service I can to my clients and provide the best solution to managing a social media account.
As business owners, we all need time for ourselves, and that's what Agorapulse allows us to do.
welcome back to the show. You're watching the Social Media Lab Live. I'm your host, Owen Video, with my co-host, Scott Ayers, and our guest co-host. It is the show of a plethora of co-hosts. Plethora? Ian Anderson Gray is joining the team today, and if you're watching us on Facebook, you can type 5 into the comment section now to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to us there. We're talking about Facebook reach, and although we know it's down, it's not down everywhere, and we're going to show you today what industries are unaffected, what industries are actually on the uptick, and what industries are definitely on the down, and what you can do to beat the Facebook algorithm. And if you know somebody who's a social media marketer or someone who owns a business, tag them in the comment section below. Tell them to start watching at what it's like 9:40 is the time code, is because it's right now we're getting into the meat. We're getting into the meat of it. Can you bring my mic up a little bit? Some of the audience is saying that my mic is a little bit down. So we'll get that started. So Scott, this was an interesting study because what you were doing is comparing the reach of Facebook pages from 2017 to 2018. But what were some of the challenges you had in setting up this experiment to measure it?
Well, some of the biggest challenges first for us is the original data. Lisa had pulled out all the anomalies of, pages that were not, might have been dead, pages that, were kind of old, that sort of thing, and kind of lumped them all together. So I had to kind of go back and ask our tech guys for like the raw data that she used and kind of go through a lot of spreadsheets. So if you love spreadsheets, you would have loved this experiment because it was a lot of spreadsheet looking. Not a lot of posting and fun social stuff. So it's a little bit of a challenge to kind of go in and do that. And the other challenge is just making sure the industries matched up for me. So like in the original article, we looked at travel and leisure, nonprofits, local, automotive, education, et cetera, et cetera. So I had to kind of make sure we line those up, match to match. And sometimes the category that people, page had in the first study may not be when we pulled the data again. So I had to line all those up to make sure the data was as relevant as we could. So yeah, some interesting findings when we compare them together and then looking at the overall.
Yeah. Now, Ian Anderson Gray, you work with clients and you also have your own platform. What are some of the tools that you use to measure the reach of your Facebook posts and your live streams?
Can I first say that I love the word plethora, so thank you for using that.
Yeah, I'm trying to work it in more into my everyday life.
It's good, and I think actually, I'm sure we should do a test on if you use the word plethora, your reach will go up. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
that's the next.
Just plethora in every post.
That's the next. That's the next Social Media Lab Live. I love it.
Maybe not, but yeah. So in terms of reach, I mean, there's two tools that I use. First of all, there's Facebook Insights. I mean, that gives you pretty much everything that you need to know in a really quick and easy format. And yeah, this is kind of a bit of a plug to Agorapulse, but I am a big fan of Agorapulse. And within that, you get some amazing reports that show you the reach, but also the engagement and your biggest fans. I find that really, really helpful to look at on a daily basis or a weekly basis to see which posts are getting the most reach, the most engagement. And you may be really surprised when you look at that and you see that actually, what, I thought that this type of post was going to do really well, but actually, no, it's this other kind of post. Yeah. And for me personally, I've always found video works really, really well, not just for reach, but also for engagement, and live video even more so. And I know, Scott, you did some studies that showed that live video, certainly you got a lot more engagement, and that's what I think is really happening in terms of the engagement and the interaction with fans. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg wants. He wants to build more community. He wants people to talk with their friends. And so the reach, I think, is going to go higher the more interactions you have and the more you encourage those interactions with
creating
friends.
Conversations and creating movements that people can get behind and comment to and things to that nature. How are you increasing your reach? Let us know in the comments section right now. Are you posting more? Are you moving into live video? We'd love to know how you're adjusting to the Facebook algorithm. Now, Scott, you used sort of a lesser known tool called the Barometer. Jason, do we have some screenshots of that? Because you were with your 37,000 different pages. Scott, walk through us a little bit about how you gathered this data using the Barometer. And I believe this is a tool that our audience can use for free.
Right. The Facebook Barometer is a tool. I believe that if I remember right, Emmerich said that Agorapulse created back in 2012. So it's been around almost 7 years now. It's a free tool. It kind of lets you compare your page to other pages of similar size. You just connect to it, and it takes a little bit to sync. Benchmark your page.
Yep.
You'll have to ask the typical permissions that Facebook asks for whenever you connect to an app, but it'll start pulling in your reach. It'll pull in your engagement, your people talking about, and then you can kind of see it and compare it over time based on different time frames. So free tool, go connect to it. Like I said, it might take, it's not an instantaneous thing always when you get that, the sync happens. But once you do, you can kind of keep going back over there and see. I've got a couple of pages that I go over there and look all the time to see if I'm doing okay compared to pages of my size. So what we did is we pulled the data from that of all these pages, which actually now, ironically, we were looking at this yesterday, Owen, in our planning meeting. We had 37,100 pages yesterday. Today is 37,360. So 260 pages have connected in the last 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
So people are using this quite a bit. It's a free tool. We don't charge you anything to use it. Great little way to kind of compare your pages to others.
And we put a link to the Facebook Barometer in the comments section, so you guys can check that out. It's pinned there. If you're watching this on the replay, put hashtag replay in the comment section so that we know that you're there. But scroll through and find the comments, and you'll sort of see the Facebook Barometer. You can go down there. You can put your own page in, and you'll get some immediate numbers. Jason, can you show that screen again? You'll see some immediate numbers that really you're not seeing everywhere else, and you can see how you're comparing to other people. And that's exactly what Scott did for this particular study. Now, you came back with a ton of different numbers, and I want to talk a little bit about those numbers, because you really looked at this as a per industry, right? What are the industries that are really affected? So let's take a look. Let's kind of go through those. And okay. Jason, if we can show the graphic, because you guys made a great social media graphic here too that we could show while we talk about that. So Scott, tell us, what did you find after going through 27,000 pages or more in terms of reach versus 2017, 2018?
Yeah, so we found, first, we'll just kind of go down alphabetically, so it's not in a particular order here. But the automotive industry, their reach was down about 7.5%, 7.55% to be exact. So not horrible, not too bad. Banks and financial institutions were down 4.61%. Education, this one really hurt. My wife's a teacher, and so I hate to see this because they're pretty much, usually nonprofit kind of things. They were down 29.88%.
Wow.
So it's a massive drop for the education pages. Why that is, who knows? But they did see a drop. Food and beverages, this one's a positive. I think this correlates to the local stuff, where they were actually up 1.7%. You want to scroll down a little bit more, Jason, to where we're at. 1.7% food and beverages were up, which was the highest increase that any of them had. The health and beauty industry was down 3.58%. The one I'm most excited about was local businesses were up 0.40%. Back to kind of what you were talking about earlier, Owen, that personal connection is so important for local businesses. I know the people who own almost every local business that I engage with, and Facebook is rewarding that relationship. And I think that's a good news for the small businesses and the small marketers. It may not be good news for the large corporations because they're going to have to spend more money, but they typically have more money to spend.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's
positive?
Do you feel like that's like some type of punishment for the bigger businesses, kind of like saying, "Hey, you can afford it"? And is that fair? Your thoughts, Ian Anderson Gray?
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not surprised by those stats. It's really interesting. I'm maybe surprised by the education, like you, Scott, because I think people come to Facebook in particular for entertainment. They're not wanting to be bombarded by lots of stuff about themselves. And I think bigger businesses in particular fall into this trap of talking about themselves all the time and being full of their own self-importance. Whereas the local businesses maybe, and food and drink, they're talking about things that people are passionate about, that people love. And so I think the industries where the reach is down, I think they need to be inspired by the industries where they're doing really well, that they need to talk about their customers. They need to talk about the things that really interest their customers instead of talking about themselves all the time.
Good. Okay. So what are some of those things, right? Because you've got my brain juices flowing now. Like, what are some of those things you talk about your customers? We, like, at our company, what we do, we survey twice a year, and we ask people what they want to hear about, what they want to know about. So there's an idea, maybe. Other idea. How do we get in line, in tune with what our customers want to hear?
Yeah, surveys are good. And, but what it's down to is it's talking to them, instead of just being a one-way communication machine. Ask them, talk to them, listen to what they're saying. There are listening tools out there. There's this thing called Twitter, which you can actually go and find out what people are saying to each other about maybe your competitors or about whatever it is that your business is about. You can find what people are talking about and talk in the language that they're talking about. So I think it needs to be a lot more listening. And you can actually do things like, I know my brother-in-law worked in a hospital in the UK, and they actually got the nurses and the doctors involved. They had like personal employee of the month. They got them involved. Those kind of things do really, really well. They tend to do really well. So get people involved and get them to kind of inspire your content.
Those are some pretty brilliant ideas. I can't tell you how many times I work with a lot of clients in coaching groups and things like this. How oftentimes the business owner, right, will refer to his product or service the way that he's always referred to the product and service, right? When the customers might be calling it something else, right? They might be calling it a Kreller. He's calling it a donut. And it's like, dude, start calling it a Kreller. You know what I mean? Like, it may not be what you envisioned, but your audience, your customers have given it a life of its own. We actually use a window in Agorapulse for that. We have a window that actually searches my name. I want to make sure when my name is being used properly, without the context of 4-letter words next to it. That's number one. But also, right?
It's 4 letters, though.
It's true. That's great. Touche, my friend. Touche. You took that dragon right through the heart. But also like complaints on the company, complaints on, I ordered this thing and I didn't get it. We've actually discovered that links are broken through listening to what people are saying in the social media spheres. So we're looking at sort of the decline in reach, and we're seeing that the big companies that kind of afford it, right, kind of got hit. The smaller companies are given a break. Is it safe to say, guys, that we don't know how long this is going to last, that Facebook could arbitrarily change this again? And if so, how can we capitalize on this now?
Yeah, I think I'm not surprised about it. Like, we didn't get all the way down the list. News and media saw a 33% drop, which lines up 100% with all the controversy that happened in our last political election in the U.S. Those pages got hammered after the election because of so much fake news and stuff. I think it will last, probably, because, again, Facebook is trying to get back to making it fun, making it entertaining, making it where it's personal. That's why groups, I think, are doing so well for a lot of people right now. So I don't see it going back up, unfortunately. But I think the businesses that are being smart, like Ian said, and you said, about doing things that connect, doing things that involve their community, involve the users, mentioning their names, talking in their language. I think those places are going to succeed, where the big companies, like the news and media or travel and leisure, being down, and even education. You think about colleges. What do colleges typically post? A lot of ads about their university. Right. And so when they're so focused on, come buy from us, buy from us, buy from us, no one engages with those posts. Right. But when it's a local beauty shop showing off the haircut they gave somebody, everybody's like, oh, cool, I want that haircut. And they get engaged with it. And so I think that's massive. Such great points, and we've seen that. You guys know I'm a live stream nut. I teach a live stream coaching
coaching class, and we do this specifically for the small business owners. You know, it's interesting when a simple hair salon does a before and after video, right? And so this is a big shout out to my friend Kristen Curry, who made an amazing video. Real simple, right? It's before and after, and then the process. Simple video made on her phone, and the engagement was through the roof. I have seen companies put money into much bigger videos and then boosted the reach. And yeah, they got 28,000 views on it, but there's 0 comments, right? There's no engagement on those things. And these simple videos give the local business a leg up over some of these news media corporations. What that means is that your friends are more likely to see your video, your hair salon, your microblading, your certified financial planner video, right, than they are to see a CNN video or a Fox News video or whatever the case might be, right? Because Facebook wants to connect you with local people, and they want those conversations to be had. So tremendous, I think, advantage for the local business owners. I think that's what this survey sort of revealed, is that if you've got a local business or you can do business in a local community with real people, you have an extreme advantage. Ian Anderson Gray, your thoughts on what does your video need to include, or what does your live presentation need to include to get engagements and to get people talking?
Well, I love what you just said. It's down to this overused word, but I'm going to use it, and that's authenticity, because that's what people want. People crave that less of the kind of the slick marketing video, but the real person behind the video.
Yeah.
And that is where the small businesses have got their they've got a trump card there, in that in a sense, they may not have the mega expensive studios there, but they've got the smartphone, and they're just going live, and they're being real. And if they make a mistake, it doesn't matter. The bigger businesses out there, I think they feel they've got more to lose. It needs to be slick. It needs to be perfect in their mind, but it doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't need to be like that. So I think what needs to happen is to engage with your audience, listen to what they're wanting, talk to them, give them access to you, to your business. That's what people want. They want to talk to you. They want to find out more about you. They want to ask questions, and they also want to hear stories about people like themselves. So use stories about your customers on your live videos. Bring people on the show, those kind of interactions, highlight comments as well, and just give them something that's entertaining. It doesn't have to be it shouldn't be boring. It should be fun and engaging. And there's loads of ways you can do that with live video.
So question for you, I want to survey the whole audience here. I'd love to know if you're watching live or on the replay. By the way, if you're watching on the replay, use the hashtag replay in the comment section. We will respond to every replay hashtag, because we want to make sure that you guys are involved in the show. My question is this. Do people want to see vulnerability and rawness from a bigger corporate brand, right? I'd love to know what you gentlemen think. I also love to know what our audience thinks in the comment section. And while you guys are typing that in, the reason I want to pose that question is because we've worked with big Fortune 200 brands. These are big companies, large infrastructures. Contracts take 90 days, to sort of, fan all this stuff out. You guys know how that is. And not only do they want polish and sophistication in all of their video and all of their posting, all their media, but they almost think that they have to do it. Like, this is what works. And my question is, and my hypothesis is that your audience, especially at a bigger company, right? If you're serving power to 2 million people in the U.S., I think that your audience wants to see something more real from you every now and then. At least they want to see behind the scenes. They want to know. They want to connect to you in a realistic way. So, what do you think, Ian Anderson? Do you think that that brands, that consumers want to see vulnerability from the companies that they're working with and subscribing to and getting their cell phone service from and that sort of thing, or does it have to be polished?
Interesting one, because I think there does have I think there should be some vulnerability, but it depends on what. If you are vulnerable about the fact that your mobile network, if you're like a Vodafone or something, and you are vulnerable in that you say that your network is not very good, then that's different. But if you're
Just
vulnerable
okay.
yeah, it's kind of we're okay, but there are other networks out there you could choose. That's not gonna fly. But if you are talking about maybe the struggles that you have as a company, say for example with customer service, actually, do you know what? If the mobile operator that I use is really open and honest that their customer service is not where they want it to be. They're really working hard about it. They've had some struggles and things like that. But you know what? We're working on it. And we'd love to hear from you. What can we do to make it better? That is the kind of vulnerability that works. So I think it depends. And talking about the struggles within the industry, that is going to be tough for some of the big businesses out there, because vulnerability is seen as a weakness. It's not seen as a strength. And you are also just worried, probably people are worried about how they will appear to their competitors. So it's really tough. It's easier for the smaller businesses, still difficult, but really difficult for the big businesses. But that kind of vulnerability really can work very well.
You know who I think did excellent with that a couple years ago was UPS. And they were doing these videos, and they were professionally produced. Don't get me wrong, folks, but they're not mega Hollywood productions. Any videographer on the street could do this. And, if you're looking for a great videographer, you might want to check out J29 Creative. They're in the comment section. Kevin Kwok, Air 5, my man, glad you're here. It's simple video telling a story of a UPS driver, and like he delivers special needs or stuff, or I think he developed a special relationship, a high five relationship with a special needs kid on his route, and these things I think are really touching. If a mobile device, a mobile carrier were to do a video on how one of their employees used her Sprint phone to call her husband when she was having a baby, these little things, and how, our product is connecting people and that sort of thing, could be a great direction for a lot of people to go. Will it create engagement? That's the key thing there, Scott. And maybe that's a question you could answer. How are we to create engagement? What are the best types of engagement that Facebook's going to recognize so that we can beat their algorithm? Is it comments? Is it likes? Is it shares? And if you're watching this on Facebook right now, why don't you engage with our share button right now? Click the big old share button. Share this video out on your timelines right now. I'd love to have you support the show. Scott, what are your thoughts? What's the best type of engagement we can hope to experience?
Well, I think Lily on YouTube makes a great comment. Says, I'd love to see that realness, but difficult to do and look genuine in the cynical world. I think that's so spot on. You want to see that realness from Nike. But at the same time, if you think about those big corporations, they spend most of their time probably just answering complaints on social media. Yeah. And so it gets a little hard to kind of have that realness and vulnerability, because, you don't typically have a one-on-one connection with Nike. But I do think showing behind the scenes stuff, I think giving people content that they typically don't see. I think that's why Instagram stories are so hot, and Facebook stories is trying, because it's typically that stuff you don't just put out there in an ad.
Right.
It's stuff that you just film real quick on your phone and you go at. Like you and I both, did something on Instagram stories before we went live.
Sure.
And so I think that genuine rawness is what gets people to engage. I think not selling, I'm fixing to start testing polls on Facebook pages. Good. I ran a poll on one of my entertainment pages just as a fun the other day, and it went I hadn't done it in ages. And I did one. I went because a friend of mine had asked me, "Hey, can you only do 2 options on a poll on the page?" I'm like, I thought you could do more, but groups you can do more, pages you can only do 2. And so I tested it, and the thing went nuts. And I went, "That's great. Oh, I've got to test this with a GIF, without a GIF." So I think there's ways you can make it simple for your audience to engage. Like us telling you to press, the type 5 is such an easy way for us to get engagement.
Yeah.
Doing a simple, hey, hit the smiley face if you do this, a like if you think that. Those are some interesting ways to try to get that engagement, because that engagement is going to be crucial, because your reach is just going to keep plummeting if people aren't touching your content. Yeah. So you got to figure out how to get people to touch it.
And a great way to get people to engage is to ask trivia questions. So as we wrap up the show today, we want to ask you guys in our audience, a trivia question, and the winner of today's trivia is going to get an Agorapulse t-shirt just like the one that I'm wearing right now. I wish I could give you the muscles inside the shirt as well, but it's not.
Just don't give him the sweat. No sweat.
Yeah.
It's a clean new shirt.
It's a clean. It's not like an Elvis Presley shirt. It's like Owen used this shirt to clean up grape juice from his kid who, was sitting at the table while he was live streaming. Ian Anderson Gray, will you read our trivia question today? Okay, guys, so here's the deal. When you see the trivia question, when you know the right answer in the comment section right now. Let's go to Ian Anderson Gray with today's trivia question.
So which industry saw the most increase in Facebook reach? Is it food and beverage, media and news, local businesses, or health and beauty?
Answer in the comment section right now if you think you know the correct answer and get your chance to win a Agorapulse, a beautiful Agorapulse t-shirt. Let us know in the comment section. I was hoping we'd have the game show music today. We have no game show music today. You have broken my heart, sir. You have broken.
He's got the dancing going on though.
Look at this. That is funk. That is real.
Are you
funk.
voguing?
He was
You're like
voguing.
Madonna voguing.
He was voguing.
I don't know what I was
your
doing.
age.
There it is.
There we go.
There we go. I love it. It's like the good old boys club over here. All right, so let's see what we got. We got Sandy Sanders is saying media and news. Sarah Hecker is saying local business. Matt Riley, good to see you, Matt Riley, saying food and beverage. And Anna D'Onofrio has got her head in the right place. She says, would love some muscles, but I think I have to earn it. Woo! Woo! Anna D'Onofrio, I love it. I love it. Glad to see you here. All right, what is the answer to today's trivia? Which industry saw the most increase in Facebook reach? Was it food and beverage, media and news, local business, or health and beauty? And the answer is...
Drum roll, please. Well, I thought we were going to have it on the screen. We don't. It's food and beverage was up 1.7%. So it looks like we'll have to give that t-shirt to Matt Riley.
Matt Riley is today's winner. Give it up, everybody, for Matt Riley. Like bomb him in the comments section right now. Matt Riley, reach out to Scott at Agorapulse. Or Scott, you could actually just touch base with him in the comments section. You will exchange emails and we'll mail out your Agorapulse t-shirt. And for those of you watching us live on Facebook or on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the show if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, just type 5 in the comment section now. That will subscribe you to the show. We have another fantastic episode coming to you next Thursday at 9 a.m. I'm Owen Video here with the content media, content social. It's Dayquil and a prayer, folks. Dayquil and a prayer. That is how we finished it today. That is how. Someday I will share with you guys the horrors of what went on behind the scenes of this episode. But this is the social media scientist, Scott Ayers, with Owen Video and Ian Anderson Gray saying, we'll see you next time on the Social Media Lab. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.